Hi guys, we are going to be going over some of the chapters that we have been reading in the 48 Laws of Power. We are going to go over chapters 13 to 20 today, and it's just going to go over the chapter like review summary basically, right? So starting off with chapter and law 13, it's going to be when asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. If you need to turn to an ally for help, do not bother to remind him of your past assistance and good deeds. He will find a way to ignore you. Instead, uncover something in your request or in your alliance with him that will benefit him and emphasize it out of all of the proportion. He will respond enthusiastically when he sees something that can be gained for himself. The key to this power is there is an art to asking for help, an art that depends on your ability to understand the person you are dealing with and not to confuse your needs with theirs. Most people never succeed at this because they are completely trapped in their own wants and their own desires. They start from the assumption that people they are appealing to have a selfless interest to helping them. Even the most powerful person is locked inside needs of his own. And if you make no appeal to his self-interest, he merely sees you as desperate or a waste of time. Self-interest is the lever that will move people. Train yourself to think your way inside the other person's mind, to see their needs and interests, to get rid of the screen of your own feelings that obscure the truth. The other things that I've taken from this law was that some people will see an appeal to their self-interest as an ugly and ignoble. Hold on, sorry, I need something to drink. They prefer to exercise charity, mercy, justice as a feeling of superior to you. And I'm also eating boba now. Oh goodness. When you beg for them to help, you emphasize their power and their position. They are strong enough to need nothing from you except the chance to feel superior. This is the wine that intoxicates them. So don't be shy, give them that opportunity, but also make sure that you're not forgetting about your self-interests as well. The next law that we go into is law number 14, posing as a friend, working as a spy. Knowing about your rival is crucial. Using spies to gather valuable information that will keep you a step ahead. Better still, play the spy yourself. Sorry, I think I hear my daughter talking. You got her? Okay, sorry. In polite social encounters, learn to probe. Ask indirect questions to get people to reveal their weakness and their intentions. This one was one of my favorites, I'm not gonna lie. This is no occasion that is not an opportunity for artful spying. And I really like to take away from this wasn't like spying necessarily. It was just like trying to ask questions that's more of like learning instead of trying to find questions in a way of like hurting someone, so definitely learning to probe was one of the things I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. Like poke at the questions that you're wanting to get answered, but not in a way that's like spiteful, right? Keys to this power: people won't tell you all of their thoughts, emotions, and plans. As such, you cannot predict their moves and are constantly in the dark. The trick to find a way to probe them, to find out their secrets and hidden intentions without letting them know what you're up to. The most common way of spying is to use other people. The method is simple, powerful, but risky. Risk being exposed or fed the wrong information. It is better to be the spy yourself, posing as a friend while secretly gathering information. Practice this tactic. Practice this tactic. Wow. Have you guys ever like written something and you know how to say the word, but you're like having issues saying it? Practice this tactic. There we go. With caution and care. If people begin to suspect you are warming secrets of them under the banner of conversation, they will avoid you. Emphasize friendly chatter, not valuable information. By pretending to bare your heart to another person, you make them more likely to reveal your own secrets. That's why I only protect it and tell people like that are giving me their secrets. Let's be real. Just as you spy on other people, you must be prepared for others to spy on you. See what I just said there? You may be fed the wrong information, so just be prepared if you're not going to be the like main person doing all of this, and you're relying on other fed information, second party information, third party information, right? It's not directly to you. It's not information that you gathered. Just aware that it could be misconstrued. So basically in that law was saying like, ask questions, you know, be curious, learn to probe, but also be aware they're probably not going to give you too much of their information if they think that you're going to be doing it with harmful intent, right? Law number 15 was crush your enemy totally. All great leaders since Moses have known that a feared enemy must be crushed completely. Sometimes they have learned this the hard way. If one ember is left alight, no matter how dimly it smolders, a fire will eventually break out, which is so true. More is lost through stopping halfway than through total annihilation. The enemy will recover and will seek revenge. Crush him, and not only in body, but in spirit. My dad used to tell me, he said, if you're ever in a fight, you better win, because you're going to be suffering them consequences anyways. So you might as well go full force, which I don't think was the best advice. I think really what he was trying to say was, if you're going to you know, let's put it in this like power position, right? If you're going to attack an enemy, you better know on the other end what you're dealing with, or you better, you know, crush them completely, because yeah, they can come right back with vengeance, and then it could be way worse. So the keys to this power was that I took away was, your enemies will wish you ill. There is nothing they will want more than to eliminate you. If in your struggles with them you stop halfway out of mercy or hope of real reconciliation, you only make them more determined or more embittered than they were to someday take more revenge. They have no mercy. They'll crush you eventually. So you're supposed to crush them first. Allow your enemies no option. The goal of power is to control your enemies completely, to make them obey your will. You cannot afford to go halfway. To me, I took this as like my emotions. My emotions, I allowed people to really, no, I take that back. I'm gonna say this all over. I allowed myself to be inflicted, or not inflicted, what's the word I'm trying to look for? I used to have other people's feelings about anything make me feel a certain type of way, right? But instead, I wasn't controlling my feelings. Instead, I was using my feelings as facts, instead of not looking at like what truly was going on, right? I was like, oh, but how I felt about this situation was this, that's why I reacted. Instead of looking at what they saw, what somebody maybe who's not even in the picture would have saw, and what I'm actually seeing. So that's kind of what I took away from that law was, you know your power in yourself, and know that like enemies will want to take you completely down. And if they will, they'll find your weak spot, and don't allow them to have a weak spot. Take every spot that you think is weak. So if you feel like I'm not strong enough in my mind, people think I'm dumb, go read more books. Give them the evidence that you need, so that when they come at you saying, oh, you're dumb, you're stupid, you can't talk, da da da. No, I actually know what I'm talking about. I talk to a lot of people, I read, whatever. Give yourself that evidence, so that when somebody comes at you about something, you can shoot them down. That's kind of what I took from that law. Law 16 was use absence to increase respect and honor. Too much circulation makes the price go down. Too much circulation makes the price go down. The more you are seen and heard from, the more common you appear. If you are already established in a group, temporary withdrawal from it will make you more talked about, even more admired. You must learn when to leave, create value in create value through scarcity. The key to this power: a strong presence will draw power and attention to you, but a point to inevitably reached to a point that is inevitably reached where too much, where am I at? Hold on. Too much precedence, there we go, creates the opposite effect. The more you are seen and heard from, the more you are value degrades. At the right moment, you must learn to withdraw yourself before they are unconsciously pushed you away. It is like a game of hide and seek. The moment you allow yourself to be treated like anyone else, it is too late. You are swallowed and digested. To prevent this, you need to starve the other person of your absence. Force their respect by threatening them with the possibility that they will lose you for good. Create a pattern of abstinence and precedence. So what I honestly took from that one is, don't be giving everybody all of your energy. You have to give it in portions. And this is what I loved. The moment you allow yourself to be treated like anyone else, it is too late. You're swallowed and digested. You're literally feeding people when you're giving them too much energy. Extend the law of scarcity to your own skills. Make what you are offering the world rare and hard to find, and you are instantly increasing your value. Law 17 was keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Humans are creature. Humans are creature. Wow, Ashley.
Creature. I got you, baby.
I guess I need more water to my brain today. Yes, humans are creatures of habit with a need for familiarity and other people's actions and their own. Your predictability gives them a sense of control. Turn the tables. Be deliberately unpredictable. Behavior that seems to have no consistency or purpose will keep them off balance, and they will wear themselves out trying to explain your moves taken to an extreme. These strategies can intimidate and terrorize. Okay, this one was good. Why? Because it was like literally amazing. Turn the tables. If people are expecting you to respond a certain way and you're wanting them to respond a different way, sis, because they'll be shook. I'm gonna tell you guys this story real quick. I was doing laundry and my mom was like, man, you do so much laundry in one day. Like, she was just complaining about it. And honestly, guys, she complained about it every Sunday. And I'm just kind of like, I was gonna go off on her this time. I really was, because I'm like, come on, like, why do you keep doing this? Like, do you think I want to do this much laundry? Do you really think I want to do this much laundry? No. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, I'm about to go off on her, but I know that's not gonna. I literally saw the whole thing play out. Like, if I were to go off, what would happen, right? Because I know I'm not. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be unpredictable. I'm gonna ask her something. And my sister was sitting there too, and I was like, all right, I see what you're saying. What would you do differently then? Like, what would you do? What advice would you give me then? And she literally was so taken aback, she didn't even know what to say. And my sister was like, what? And she goes, well, I mean, I would, I don't know, like maybe a load a day or something. I'm like, okay, I will definitely try that. I will definitely try and see if I can do a load a day and see how that goes. I did that the entire week. She was more irritated that I was doing a load a day because I was in her space. So I was like, so then she told me, she goes, actually, I think maybe it would be better if you just had a one day that you did laundry. I was like, so I'm just like, I'm not fighting fire with fire, because I think she wanted that argument, because she was so used to me blowing up over small little things, and she was waiting and waiting and waiting, but I wasn't giving it to her. I was making it unpredictable for her. So the keys to this power is nothing is more terrifying than the sudden and unpredictable things like earthquakes and tornadoes, right? The only man that has the capacity to consciously alter his behavior to improvise and overcome the weight of the routine and habit. Yet most people do not recognize this power. And I mean men in the aspect of like everybody. The person has the capacity to consciously alter their behavior, to improvise and overcome the weight of your routine and habit, which we've talked about in previous books, Atomic Habits, right? Yet most men or most people do not recognize this power. They prefer to have comforts in their routine and in their habits, which again, we've learned in Atomic Habits that we are creatures of habit, and we like to be comfortable. When things are uncomfortable, we're like, I'm not doing that. I've got anxiety. Instead of saying like, oh, I have anxiety to the point where I need to do this. This will get me out of my comfort zone. I won't have anxiety the next time that I do because I'm doing it right now, right? At least that's what is helping me. I'm not saying it's breaking the anxiety, but it's definitely helping. But a person of power instills a kind of fear by deliberately unsettling those around them to keep them on their toes. If you are unpredictable, you are a master in controlling your own reactions of how other people respond to you. Scrambling your patterns on a day-to-day basis will honestly cause you to go stir crazy. And this is why you need to have a stimulant interest and being proactive about your like routine, right? Morning routine, your habits, and how you respond to things. Like for some people, it could have been, oh, something bad happened today, I'm gonna go and have a drink. Something amazing happened, I'm gonna go have a drink. For me, it's food. I celebrate everything with food. We just got a promotion, we're gonna go out to eat. We just are super sad, our family's having a really down one, we're making a big old meal, you know? So, but is that helping me to my goals? Is that making me feel healthier? No, not really. So even in my down moments, I need to be able to make those conscious decisions to make my routine, make the way I interact with people, all of that at the most highest power, and that will make me the most in control, right? So that's what I got from law 17. Law 18 was do not build fortress to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. I love this one because the minute I broke out of that depression mold, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was like, and the floodgate kind of came in with like friends and support. My first initial thing was get them away from you, because they're going to keep you accountable. They're going to want to help you way too much, but it actually was a benefit for me, right? But when you do that and you allow people to come into your bubble, and it's not conducive to you or the things that you want, it can actually bring it down. So protect yourself. The world is dangerous and enemies are everywhere. Everyone has to protect themselves. A fortress seems the safest, but isolation exposes you to more dangers than it protects you from. It cuts you off from valuable information. It makes you an easy target. Better to circulate yourself among people who are like-minded, finding allies, and finding yourself a shield from enemies in the crowd. A lot of people who are by themselves are just walking ducks. You know, they are literally the target. So if you surround yourself with other people, you're less likely to be a target, and I feel like you're more confident in yourself too. So the key to this power is fortresses cut you off from help and cut into your flexibility. Everyone knows where you are. Power depends on social interaction and circulation. In moments of uncertainty and danger, you need to fight this desire to turn inward. Instead, make yourself more accessible, seek out old allies, or make new ones. Force yourself into more and more different circles. The effects of isolation on the human mind are a loss of proportion, an obsessive with detail combined with an inability to see the larger picture, and a kind of extravagant ugliness that no longer communicates. So when you isolate yourself, you learn how to not communicate, and you can't see the bigger picture out of things, which in turn makes you not being able to circulate your mind, right? You're not learning anything. You're not digesting anything. Your brain's just like soaking up nothing. So it's like, what are you doing? Our brain are literally sponges. So if you're not pouring into yourself or learning or constantly like making yourself question things, then message me. I'll help you out, but you should definitely be doing that. And I'm glad that everybody here on the book club, or if you're rewatching this too, that you're taking that time to question things. Because I know that if you're here reading any of these books, you're doing that. Law number 19, knowing what you are dealing with, do not offend the wrong person. There are many different kinds of people in the world, and you never assume that everyone will react to your strategies in the same way. Just deceive or outmaneuver some people, and they will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. Have you guys ever had somebody that you kind of just said something wrong to, or maybe just like had an interaction with, and it was kind of like, well, that didn't go according to plan, but then they were like out to get you, and you're like, bro, like calm down, you need to get a life. Been there. Drop a one in the chat that's happening to you, because that means we're boss ass bitches, just saying. But yeah, you know, like people will seek revenge for literally anything, so be careful with what you're doing and who you're dealing with, right? Always be aware of like your surroundings, because they are literally wolves in sheep clothing. So choose your victims and your opponents carefully, your friends and your foes, right? Then never offend or deceive the wrong person. Opponents, suckers, and victims are basically how I feel like this brought it down to. And there was a what was it called? He had different types of like men that he broke it down to. It was the arrogant and the proud man, the hopeless and insecure man, and Mr. Suspicious. The serpent with the long memory, and he basically brought these stories in, right? So I just wanted to talk about them real quick. So the first one that he was talking about was, because these are like different types of people according to like, I don't know, the book. Different typologies of people, like opponents, suckers, and victims, right? Okay, so the first one was the arrogant and proud man. Although he may initially disguise it, the man's touchy price makes him very dangerous. If at any point in your dealings with this person you sense an oversensitive and overactive pride, flee. The hopeless and secure man. The man is related to the proud and arrogant type, but is less violent and harder to spot. His ego is fragile, but his sense of humor, or excuse me, his sense of self-insecure, I don't know why I said sense of humor. his sense of self-insecure, and if he feels himself being deceived or attacked, the hurt will simmer. He will attack you in bites that will take forever to get big enough for you to notice. If you find you have deceived such a person, disappear for a long time. Number 3 was Mr. Suspicious. He sees what he wants to see, usually the worst in other people, and imagines every one is after him. Play on to his suspicious nature to get him to turn against other people. And the last one was the serpent with the long memory. If hurt or deceived, this man will show no anger on the surface. He will be calculative and will wait. He will usually be cold and unaffectionate. Be doubtfully careful in this snake type of person. If you have someone injured him, either they will crush you completely or they will get you out of their sight. I forgot there was one more. Number 5, the plain, unassuming, and often intelligent man. The man is a lot harder to deceive than you imagine. The danger with the man is not that he will harm you or seek revenge, but merely that he will waste your time, energy, resources, and even your sanity to trying to deceive him. The keys to this power are the ability to measure people and to know who you are dealing with is the most important skill of all, gathering and conserving this power. Before embarking on any move, take the measure of your mark or potential opponent. Study people's weakness, their areas of both pride and insecurity. Know their ins and outs before you decide whether or not to deal with them. In judgment of your opponent, never rely on your instincts. Nothing can substitute your concrete knowledge. Study and spy on your opponent for however long it takes. This will pay off in the long run. Never trust appearances. And the last law we're going to cover is number 20, which is do not commit to anyone. If if it is the fool who always rushes to take sides. Do not commit to any side or cause but yourself. By maintaining your independence, you become the most master of others, playing people against one another, making them pursue you. Part number 1 to this was do not commit to anyone. Actually, I think, yeah, there's 2 parts. Hold on. Part number 1 to this rule was commit. Do not commit to anyone, but be courted by all. If you allow people to feel they possess you to any degree, you lose power of all sense. But not committing to your affections, they will only try harder to win you over. Stay aloof, and you gain the power that comes from the attention and frustration desired. Play the virgin queen. Give them hope, but never satisfaction. Keys to this power were to when you hold yourself, and there's 2 parts, so I'm going to break it down. Hold on. But the keys to that power was basically when you hold yourself back, you incur not anger, but respect. You instantly seem powerful because you make yourself ungraspable rather than subduing to the group or to a relationship that most people do. As your reputation for independence grows, more and more people will come to desire you, wanting to be the one who only commits to you. Once you commit, the magic is gone. The goal is not to put people off, but to stir the pot and excite interest. The second part of this was do not commit to anyone. Stay above the fray. Do not let anybody drag you into their petty fights or squabbles. Seem interested and supportive, but find a way to remain neutral. Let others do the fighting while you stand back, wait, and watch. When the fighting parties are good and tired, they will be ripe for the picking. You can make it and practice, you can make it a practice, in fact, to stir up quarrels between other people and then offer to mediate, gaining power as the go-between. That is not going to be me, just so you know. I am not going to be in between and none of that, but I had to give you the information. So the keys to this power was most people operate in a whirlpool of emotions, constantly reacting, churning up squabbles and conflicts. You have to master your emotions. Make your moves matter of your own choosing, not defense reactions to push and pull others around you. Preserving your needs gives you options when people come to blows. You can play the mediator, broker peace while securing your own interests. You will be tempted to side with the stronger party when conflicts break out, but remember, it is often difficult to foresee which side will prevail in the long run. So stay neutral. Energy wasted on affairs of others subtract from your strength. I think that's pretty much it that I got from all that. But next Sunday is going to be our next review, and we're going to do laws 21 to 33. So we're going to be doing 13 laws next Sunday. So I'm excited for that one. Wednesday, we're going to be meeting to do a little bit of our read along. And if you guys need any help with that, we do have the Audible, but also, our read along as well on Wednesday. And I think that's about it. So if you guys have any questions about anything, let me know. And I'm going to end the recording so that way we can discuss a little bit more about the book. And if you guys had any laws that really stuck to you. So thank you so much for rewatching. And 1 second.